The power of you that I love is a gale, a blizzard, a hurricane, a warm wind, a powerful wind of fire. The heart of you that I love hits my ribbon heart, ribbon because I've already been slaughtered. Your gale hits me, ribbons of flesh and blood fly. Like flags, like ripped up pieces of flags in the wind. You can't even recognize the country. But I stand tall, and I tell you, no. And you rage, you rage, you rage. And all my little pieces of ribbon say, no, but I love you.
Black, my man, one more time.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's been a long time.
It really has, man. Nicky Black in the back and the Dance Mozaic.
7 years, brother, man. What you been up to?
Man, density entwines webs of parallel existence, thick in the heart of the inner city.
Yeah.
Taking some bike rides with my son and writing some poems whenever I can, and you know, trying to enjoy every moment.
Yeah, that's good, man. You know, you were always there in the past, but I haven't seen you in 7 years, and here you are now. Anytime someone calls, there you are, and I appreciate that, brother, man.
Density entwines webs of parallel existence thick in the heart of the inner city. And parallel webs of existence mixed thick in the dense mosaic, and endless characters coexist on the long list. Students, socialists, tourists, fundamentalists, sadomasochists, actresses, pimps, press agents, company presidents, lesbians are burning incense. There's endless residents, screenwriters, fly-by-nighters, gamblers, drifters, so many sea shifters.
Man, those were the formative days. The Venice Mosaic, man, is in my heart forever.
It was a special thing, man. It went on 132 straight months, you know. Met a lot of good people. That's the main thing, you know. It was a thing we just held space, so, you know, I could grow my friendship base, and I met a lot of great friends like you.
A lot of talent came through.
It did, man.
So many voices.
And it's like, you know, I got this thing here for you because I
need to see it. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I got these flyers because it was just like, even though we did 132, we wanted each one of them to be different. See, there's the first one, man, the very first one where I met you.
The yard. That was a nice back patio.
Back at Warsaw restaurant. This was Kristen, and she brought the music, art, and poetry in.
Thank you for keeping such good records. There were so many incredible moments, and a lot of times they can really pass, but to have a frozen snapshot like this is a really great reminder.
Well, you know, during this pandemic, you can either like get bored to death or you can do something, right? You know, I wanted to ask you a question, man, about the Poets of the Round Table. Like, where did you guys meet?
You know, the Poets of the Round Table, if we really want to go all the way back, we could talk about 1992, in the fall of 1992, when I started at UCLA, and I met Philharmonic.
Okay.
He and I both lived on the 5th floor of Dykstra Hall at UCLA. later on I heard that Jim Morrison of the Doors had not only lived in Dykstra, and somebody said he might even have lived on the 5th floor. I'm not sure.
He loved the 5th floor because he lived in the 5th floor at the Ellison in Venice.
Yeah, and I know that he did live in Dykstra, but
okay.
in any event, Phil and I met, brushing our teeth, and we were good friends right out of the gate. And, he played soccer at UCLA.
Okay.
And, as we became friends, we noticed that we both wrote poetry. But, it was more of a, just at the time, the love of the art. And I would say we started going to readings. We started going to hip-hop shows and punk shows and art shows. And we went to readings for a while. And then sooner or later, we ended up getting up on stage ourselves. But from the time we were 18, 19, 20 years old, we were running around town to the Good Life Cafe and to Beyond Baroque and Venice Boardwalk and Griffith Observatory and Midnight Special Bookstore, and Skylight Books used to be called Chatterton's, and Small World Books and all of these spaces. And so the Poets in the Round Table started with Phil and I. Along the way, we met Ordell Cordova. He was at the Postal Registry in Westwood, and he used to host this open mic at the Westwood Brewing Company, the House of Green.
I've seen the footage of that. And it was amazing. It was amazing.
It was one of the most eclectic open mics you've ever seen, from comedy to heavy metal to punk to hip hop to poetry to anything could happen. Anything could happen. Somebody, you might have a mime sometime. I mean, it was. But along the way, we met Best Kept. Then we met Strict 9, and we met Sarah Cruz and Megan Jacobs and Hollywood 7, and then there was a lot of characters that came through that might have just been with us for a season. Might have just been through with us for a while, but started with, and it started out of friendship, At the same time, though, Phil and I, we were reading the Harlem Renaissance and the Beat Poets and the Black Arts Movement, and it was always, some hip hop, some poetry, some art, Phil was reading the French Surrealists, and I was reading
Me too.
I was reading Mike Davis, and I'd almost gone to graduate school in urban planning, but I ended up writing poems about the city.
That is true, brother, and that's why we're here today, man. You mentioned Ordell Cordova, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with him because he's got a poem about y'all, and that's what I loved about you guys writing about each other.
I want to pull out my notebook real quick because I want to take some notes.
Be yourself.
We're gonna bring on my man. An old friend of mine. He's been hosting open mics. He's been a DJ. He's been doing all kinds of things for a long time. They call him DJ Naj. Ordell Cordova, John Kinney, Naj Dogwater. You call him what you want. The man is coming out of Venice, California. And please give it up for Ordell Cordova.
Yo. It's kind of odd me stepping up a little earlier before the DJ Naj experience. But I'm here just to do one quick piece. This piece right here is a piece dedicated to one of the crews that me, myself, Mike, the poet, and many other ones you're hearing. The piece is dedicated to out of one of the crews that we got, We started out with like the Ghetto House Productions, moved into Poet to the Round Table. Woo, man, now we got Council of Venues where like I can't even name all of them right now, including this one and shit. So let me get on with this right here. This one is called Poet to the Round Table. It's dedicated to all the Poets to the Round Table. And all you Poets to the Round Table, why don't you listen up close for your names. Let me tell you about Poet to the Round Table. Spinning words like 33 1/3. I got Strict 9, Best Kept, stamped by blue chips. So mic that poet so we can feel harmonic. Yeah, this is Ordell Cordova taking you on a Sarah Cruz. Now, Tekalarka sprayed the crowd using the weapon of tone tech. As Mirror One left images of Blackbird, Midnight, Survivor at 7 Ladon. Let me tell you about the Poets of the Round Table. They be spinning words like 33 1/3.
What's the word?
Yeah, I got you Strict 9, and I got that shit Best Kept and stamped by blue chips. So, we need to mic the poet so we can feel harmonic. Yeah, I'm Ordell Cordova, bringing you all the Ray Rays of J-So. Oh, so you've been to a Poets of the Round Table show, and you saw Megan Jacobs on organ, and you heard Rachel next with the visions of Emmy still in your eyes, while your mind's with the Bus Stop Prophet. He's creating a Kevin Storm. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, the rumor is true. Carlo got DJ Naj into the House of Blues. But it's not there. You will hear DJ Dave spit intelligence to bring out the best to the Poets of the Round Table, like Umar and Carla Vega. So come on, and Mike the Poet. I said, come on now, let's Mike the Poet so we can hear the Poets of the Round Table, because we got a strict 9. Best kept, stamped by blue chips, spinning words like 33 1/3. So Mike the Poet, I said Mike the Poet, so we can feel harmonic. And I'm Ordell Cordova telling you about who? The Poets of the Round Table.
That piece, that poem really captured the spirit of the Poets of the Round Table. And you know, the Poets of the Round Table was one of those, groups that evolved, and it was never really the same ever, and there's always different members and different people that were participating, and Phil and I were really, at the center of it, but there was Best Kept and Strict 9 and everybody, there was all these other little satellite groups too, you know what I mean? But that poem really captures the spirit, man.
Yeah, he comes off the page. Mm-hmm. That's his thing. He's always got that book in his hand, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the part of the thing I noticed about you guys, like you reminded me of the Venice Beats. With that, you had that type of energy. You came into Venice Bistro 6 deep, run in, get on the mic, go to another open mic sometimes, and I thought that was amazing, and that you could just see the love, right? But yeah, that was Ordell Cordova, man.
Man, Ordell, man. He put a lot of people on at that House of Green, and just definitely a man of community. And I always used to say Ordell's one of those guys. Add water with Ordell and you got a party. I mean,
for sure, man.
You're gonna have a good time when you see Ordell.
And I remember you were always trying to introduce us. You're trying to help each show or each club, right? You tried to help, and and it worked. When we got together, he really was the backbone behind Venice Mosaic for sure, man. And all right, bro. Well, let's go with you next. This John Thomas. You guys showed up to the John Thomas event, and that meant a lot to me because these were my inspiration, and I wanted to show them that performance poetry, that they was part of their shtick, right? That look at these kids, they're doing performance poetry. Maybe in a different way, but man, you lit this up.
How's everybody doing? How are you guys? We are here to celebrate. We are here to celebrate the past, present, and future. To celebrate those who have come before and those who are walking through the doors, and may poetry live on forever. It's about you guys. This is about Venice. This is about Los Angeles. This is about the literary movement. We are all messengers. And I have no choice but to do this poem. This is about Los Angeles. This is about all of you guys. So here we go. Is it the sunshine or the catastrophes, flash floods, or the traffic? Something about Los Angeles makes music, makes magic. The muse of Los Angeles makes artists get active. Behold the lore of LA authors. Behold who's rocking the populace in the postmodern metropolis. LA authors. Starting with Charles Fletcher Loomis, sunshine looms large in literary Los Angeles. From the myth of Ramona, Pueblos, California ranchos, orange groves, and the Arroyo Seco, expatriate artists of the 1890s brought the first sunshine wave of LA authors, and the boosters blew the trumpets on the Golden State's landscape. Sun for 300 days, a cure for old age, find the fountain of youth in Los Angeles, hype up pamphlets, let the world know. The land of the sunshine, the new Eden, it was manifest destiny. But it wasn't heaven for everybody. Besides the boosters, there was the bunkers, socialists, expatriate poets, leftist screenwriters, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Louis Ademic, and Jake Zetland. And Nathaniel West, he was one of the best. The City of Flames and the Day of the Locust, the underground intelligentsia of artists and authors. They lived in Echo Park bungalows. McCartney, he called the Red Hill, and Sinclair yelled, "Oil! Behold the lore of LA authors, behold!"
Chandler and Kane were kings of writing more detective novels in the lost streets of Bunker Hill, where Fonte celebrates staircase fire escapes and lost love, and long before Rodney King, it was Azusa riots. The LAPD and the Navy fools fought with the Pachucos in the Sleepy Lagoon, and Terry McWilliams knew the deal. It was fire factories in the fields. Palm trees are swinging in the wind as the sunset begins. It's twilight on Franklin. But what makes Sammy run? Is it the architectural illusion, Hollywood tycoons and the American dream, Robinson, Jeffries, Langston Hughes? If he hollers, let him go, get your jazz on Central Avenue. And Ray Bradbury wrote Martian Chronicles. L. Ron Hubbard wrote science fiction into Scientology. And Charles Bukowski, staying in single-room occupancies, wrote sublime poetry about the plight of the modern man with a beer can in his hand. And Venice beats off of Abercrombie. 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 Every time I'm in Venice, Jim Morrison speaks to me. Behold the lure of LA Authors, behold, rocking like rockabilly car clubs, the Carpenters, the Beach Boys, Grease, disco, and roller skating. And singer-songwriters in Laurel Canyon like James Taylor or Joni Mitchell sang the real deal in the Hollywood Hills, basking above Babylon and hedonism before hippie folk maidens became pop rock musicians. And now we're rocking the Rainbow Room like Led Zeppelin, selling platinum. Radio Free Hollywood, Hotel California, the Doobie Brothers. Play that funky music, white boy. Behold the lore of LA Authors, behold! And Braxton LSC tells us about the gilded youth snorting white rainbows in Beverly Hills. Less than zero. Walter Mosley, Easy Rollins, the devil in the blue dress, and Little Richard, and Barry Whitebrook, and Willowbrook. Motown came out west with the Jacksons, and Louis McAdams, he dug Miles. He wrote The Birth was Cool. James Elroy kept LA confidential. The Black Dahlia, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Magical Realism, Hunter S. Thompson's New Journalism, were south of no north in the sea of poets, reeling in the years of the ecology of fear. Mike Davis, some magical urbanism hit like Joe and Gideon's White Album. Thomas Pynchon to Luis Rodriguez. Thomas Pynchon to Luis Rodriguez. Linnell George to Ruben Martinez, Wanda Coleman, Exene Cervenka. Check out the LA sound selectors. Punk rock, pop, underground poets, urban planners, Klein, Soja, Jello, Biafra, Rollins, Ellen, Maybe, and spoken word artists got trails blazing. Paul Evangelisti and John Thomas. Paul Evangelisti and John Thomas. Paul Evangelisti and John Thomas. John Thomas. Lawrence Lipton and the Holy Barbarians. Stuart Perkoff and Words of Raisin Roofs like Poetics. Venice West, the Mike and Dim Lights, Beyond Baroque and Ginsberg. He got naked, folks, so welcome to the West Coast Poetry and Jazz Festival. The truth is stranger than fiction. It's surreal living in these conditions. William Gibson, science fiction, cyberpunks on super expressways, get over copies every day. Hollywood loves the apocalypse. The coast is toast. Earthquakes, flash floods, El Nino, Armageddon, busted bridges, waves are crashing on the edge of the continent. Is it the city of flames or is it another day in paradise? Is it sunshine or noir? Baywatch or Blade Runner? Stay tuned for another long, hot summer. Santa Ana warm winds keep blowing, the creative juices keep flowing, the list of our LA authors keeps growing. LA authors are making music loud like Sunset Strip, rock and roll, soul, Doors, Van Halen, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Ice Cube, NWA, Dr. Dre, Pharcyde, Snoop Dogg, Freestyle Fellowship, Hip Hop, Metal, Bedroom Producers, Turntablists, and Poets! Behold the lore of LA Authors! Behold the lore of LA Authors! Behold! Who's rocking the populace in the postmodern metropolis? LA Authors, all of you guys. I love you guys. Thank you.
All right, man, that was amazing. Man, you know, you were right about the oral tradition. That poem was a combination of, I had been reading all my different heroes of different LA writers, but at the same time I wanted to try to really, you know, capture the spirit of it. And some of it was, you know, referencing Mike Davis's chapter, Sunshine and Noir, and, you know, the different myths of LA, the sunshine, the noir, the light side, the dark side, heaven and hell, but also all the different little variances in between. And so that poem was really definitely my ode to LA literature, but it was also my own rite of passage of growing up in LA in the 80s and 90s.
And you brought it to Venice that night, bro. You lit it up, and they got to see something they didn't expect. I'm serious. You know, and we have to do that. That's your job, right? And speaking of your buddy Phil, he was at this Abbott Kinney thing too. This John Thomas event, and like I said, I wanted to have you and him back to back at the same event. And I think that this poem now is more relevant than ever.
I talked to him the other day on the phone about it, and he's bringing this poem back.
So at this point, I'm gonna bring another one of my friends up here, another kid, Mike. I can't think of Mike without Phil. It's kind of the way it goes, but they are two individual fantastic artists. Let's give it up for Philharmonic.
You know, before I get started, I think it's important to say, it's like I've known Mike for a long time, so that piece, it reverberates movies in a lot of really big ways because we were just so into reading and discovery and taking the words. So, you know, it's important to say, those that brave the way now serving as inspiration from the grave. Big John, love him. I was fortunate when I very first moved to LA to have seen him a long time ago. So, yeah, a long time ago. So this is in celebration of his energy. So I'm gonna, can I get some help from the people in the place? Yeah! Oh, that sounds about right. So it goes down like this. I'm gonna say yes, yes, y'all. Then you're gonna say to the beat, y'all. Yes, yes, y'all.
To the beach, y'all.
Yes, yes, y'all.
To the beach, y'all.
Yes, yes, y'all.
To the beach, y'all.
We just having fun, having a ball. Yes, yes, y'all.
To the beach, y'all.
Yes, yes, y'all.
To the beach, y'all.
We just having fun, having a ball. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the committed. We the light of the darkness, can't forget it. We are the righteous. Our message is a transcendental hip-hop philosophy blessed by the lords of the dance. We are free to rant with tongues of our own. No MTV, no video soul. We are people whose memory is coming back. In the memory of remembrance of things past. We are the ones who must outlast. We are the ones behind bars whose emotional scars leave hope to be devoured by stars. Forever bliss, the kiss. We are the ones who make beauty home. We make nativity scenes out of blood and bones as odes to our soul. The only music we know comes from the heart and the soul. We are the ones who could be natives of a celestial empire if we strive to be greater still. Mind, power, will. We are the ones who said amen and amen corner hieroglyphics script you can spit. It took those not in the know a week to get it. We are the ones who have been waiting for. We are the ones who listen to the wisdom of silence and the meanings of noise. We are the ones who listen to the slave shouts from down south like 40 acres and a mule becomes a cried out blues. What are we going to do? We are the ones who say, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm just like a little bit caught up here. Alright. We are the ones who bottle the incandescent freshness of flowers and birds, passing them out in corals of courses of course for the world to observe. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones who bear our sorrow in hip sacred clothes made to cover the body of a past no longer lost in code. We dug Atlantis before it went under Pompeii's ashes. We are land, we are sea, regenerating cream for jerry curls and afro sheets. You know what I mean? We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones who bear the divine gifts of man from the microphone stand to the hand's ability to do the work of the brain. Creators, let it rain. We are the ones who call life experiments in urban terrain where Indians dance for reign the game. Somehow, like James Baldwin, nobody knows our name. We are the ones who call our sidewalk affairs of poetry and art that gather the best minds of our generations like Noah's Ark. The biblical term is worship. Everybody in Venice, welcome to the service. We are the ones who contaminate nuclear heads with nuclear threats from the after-hour spot where the music gets hot. We collaborate with another realm of existence, with syncopating our soul with the drums' resistance. Drums get hit. We are the ones who attended head bangers bald and bangs our head on the wall to watch our skulls fall softly like feathers on the drum. The call and response started with the drums. Yum yum, the black dim sum. What, you want some? We are the ones who have been waiting for. We are the ones whose alternative conversations made mystic hip-hop alternative rock pop. And though we regret it, the beat won't stop. We are the ones whose integrated network systems knew the rhythm of boom bap, having history to look back at. We are the ones who have been waiting for. We are the ones who take in smoke from mirrors that blow out fire like saxophone riffs on inexhaustible lines of primordial blues bliss. Her honey lips a diva kiss. We are the ones who call diva queens and comb our hairs with our fingers touched. Except these days, CDs cost too much. We are the ones who manifest energy and radiate in oracles of prophecy you see but just won't say. We as poets must pray. We are the ones who write to change the elements of the environment. The memories fade, the sun is low, somebody hit the billboard, yo. We're the ones who have been waiting for. We're the ones who know a man's heart attack, where he was at, where he go, think about it, Zora Neale or Zorro, the true heroes. We're the ones who have been waiting for. We're the ones whose amazing grace is done for humanity's sake, because haters are gonna hate. We're the ones who bear our hate in silence, because the world needs no more violence. We're the ones who make love late night and passionate embrace, because it's still a thin line between love and hate. We're the ones we have been waiting for. We're the ones whose mother nature married Father Time in Sun Valley by the radio dial. We are absolutely sure it's better live. We are the ones who meditate on root thought with freestyles, waiting for Father Time to pass the time. Now we count the ways. Slow still, we now count the days. We're the ones who go deep into DNA for genetical display of beatbox, from Dougie Fresh to Bismarck to the show. The show comes and goes, and euphoric horn solos and spoken box riffs made for hip-hop and punk rock kids. That's the way it is. We're the ones whose right action is the proper medication it takes to give the audience what's happening like satisfaction at a B-boy cypher circle next to the city of sin. We all know it's time to march in. We're the ones who have been waiting for. Yes, yes, y'all.
To the beach, y'all.
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 We just having fun, having a ball.
Yes, yes.
All right, man. Yeah.
I've always loved that piece, man. It Phil's imagery, nativity scenes out of Blood and Bones,
Yeah.
hieroglyphics from Atlantis to Pompeii.
Yeah,
Phil was
the
up
first
on.
one I met, and I was mesmerized that day. I was starstruck. I was like a groupie waiting for him to get off of that open mic at Abbot Kinney, right?
Abbott's Habit, right?
Yeah, and he was up there, just happened to be there, and just sometimes these things are, you know, have a serendipity, a godly thing to them. It's always in things that happen in movements, right?
Yeah.
Ginsberg and Kerouac happened to go to the same college, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
You know, Phil, he was listening to Mingus. He was extremely well read and well listened to from 1920, 21, you know, 22 years old. I remember there was a lot of records that he played them for me the first time, you know, and as we traded books, we traded records, and we kind of doubled each other's knowledge. We passed stuff back and forth, but Phil's always been up on, always knew his music, always knew, you know, his painters. He'd tell me about Mogliani and, you know, different, you know.
That's my favorite, is Mogliani. I love him.
He always knew about
Yeah.
different artists and filmmakers. And
his art's taken off in New York, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I thought so. I keep seeing him at different galleries and things like that. And he's
Yeah.
passing on with the soccer too to the kids. You
Yeah,
know,
he's a
teaching
great soccer
kids.
coach. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. Phil, with the spoken word memory, right?
Yeah.
It's, you guys were always talking about off the dome, not off the page. And he, for a minute there, forgot, right? And he went to the dome, and it came back to him. But I think that's what people are impressed with, is the memorization. But I think it comes from that oral tradition. If you're born in the oral tradition, you got memories.
Yeah, and you know, Phil has a lot of gravity to his work. There's always a lot of energy, and you feel a lot of, you know, gravitas. You feel that energy behind it. You feel the gravity.
He definitely changes the room. You know what I mean? Definitely. And man, you guys go back. You guys are like Kerouac and Ginsberg to me. You happen to go to the same school. Let's look at Miss Sarah Cruz.
Man.
At the old Talking Stick Venice. I mean, Talking Stick Ocean Park.
A lamppost flickers and dies in the night. I'm walking blindly, trying to find the first thing to bite me tightly, pull me from dark streets. Sweet, solitary abyss, I'm trying to feel past what I seem to miss, 'cause though I've tried, it seems I can't see past my mother's burdens, my father's wounds. Ripened tears of ancestors kiss my heavy chest with quiet moons, and souls pass. Time seems spent on something other than the pain. Now I've got to find my way. I've got to find my way. I've got to find my got to find my way. Got to find my way back home. Now I repent all of my sins. I lay down at your feet. Precious gift of life, may I see past my strife. May I set free years of locked up, tightly sealed melancholy emotion. May I see past short checks, bus stops, and single parents. I'm hoping, searching, praying for purpose. Feed me your passion. I will devour your vision, so that when the lamppost flickers and dies, leaving dark, wise eyes of the hour will bless my depart, guide me through I don't know how many years of who the fuck knew. I never knew. All those years of unrest, depressed, repressed verses repressed. I've repressed verses of my grandmother's song, looking through the kitchen window, wondering what went wrong along the road. She was told to abide by Father Nature, descend from her throne, abandon young woman dreams for 12 kids in the stove. Oh, no, I never knew. All those years of unrest, depressed, repressed verses repressed. I've repressed verses of my grandfather's shoes, worn bare. Yes, he must have walked 1,000 miles and kept on pushing. I swear I can hear his breath, tired from years of trying to survive through weather that I have never seen. I've never seen his shoes, but I feel deeply the weight of his blues, humming to the tune of 12-year-old son. My father, working in fields, Houston, Texas, heat, school, nothing but a dream, dream suspended in midnight defeat. But see, I have dreamed. Yes, I have dreamed that I can speak away the burden in my blood, focus pain into confident strides of creation, down this path of flickering lampposts and nighttime walks and sporadic sights, and the fear of darkness tucks upon the shoulders of deaf ears, and I hear nothing but the steady rhythm of the earth beating beneath my feet.
I forgot what a great poet Sarah is.
Yeah, I mean, she's Miss Sarah Cruz, man. You know, I'm glad I got that because she changed certain styles and all that, right? Sometimes singing, sometimes, you know.
Yeah, she was a singer-songwriter, she was a poet. There was a lot of revelation in that piece there, you know.
Yeah. And I got her early.
And I knew her, you know, I remember, you know, getting to know her mom and her grandmother because they used to come to some of the readings sometimes. And as I hear that piece now, you know, many years later, it makes even more sense, you know, the way, you know, there was some kind of some confessionalism meets surrealism, you know. And
yeah, for sure.
And at the same time, with just beautiful imagery, man.
Yeah.
Sarah, what a poet.
And I had just met her and she already showed up to support, you know. Again, we supported each other, and I couldn't have done it without that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Organic Soul Movement was such a wonderful, enticing vibe, that particular space right at Industry Cafe and Jazz.
Right when Culver City started getting remixed.
Oh yeah, now it's out now. See what happens when that's how it happens. Aaron, the owner over there, plants that little seed and then everybody builds around it.
In the
Seems
last,
right?
Man, last 10, 15, 20 years, but I guess the last 10 or 15, especially LA, has just really turned a corner, and man.
You know, when you get older, you get old enough, man, you know, everything turns a corner, you know what I mean? But yeah, not like LA. LA's become New York. Like,
those venues, man, those venues like the Talking Stick, and that's, in the age of Starbucks, they're few and far between nowadays.
I see positive things, but you know, that's just me, the eternal optimist. Now we got to talk about my main man Frankie here.
Let's do it, man.
The bus stop prophet, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, this He's one of my all-time faves for sure, that I've never seen him, like yourself, not win an audience over.
So I'm gonna give you all the choice. Do you want to hear Struggle Stew, or do you want to hear the Blueprints of the Heavens?
Blueprints of the Heavens.
Hey, you guys can shout anytime you want.
Blueprints of the Heavens.
Blueprints of the Heavens, that's the only one I heard. One guy in the back wants to hear it, so I'm gonna do it for him. All right. All right, Blueprints. All right, this poem is dedicated to the idea of suffering and the understanding that suffering only hurts when we put that type of energy into it. And when we start to understand that it is, and see it as a gift and a blessing and an opportunity for growth, then it ceases to hurt us. So it's dedicated to that and to the Creator and everybody in this room. I got the blueprints of the heavens written on my fingertips. And if I put a needle to it, it'll make you shake your hips. To the mathematical melody coming from the inner me, emanating energy, it's infinite. My soul is aware. My soul is aware that I am a luminous grain shaken from the great mother's hair, crumb from the body of Christ-like dreams, a single leaf fallen from the Bodhi tree upon the Buddha's head, fragment of the supreme being, born from the deepest wind's breath, Allah's whispers, Gaia's depth. Yes, yes, I am common in all aspects. Because we all shine to the chimes of incandescent rhymes. Incantations spoken from a voice predating time. When peeled back to the something sweet beneath the skin, we see we are linked by the Tao that radiates from within, our blessed essence connected to the Most High. From the inside. Simple in nature. It's not complex. It's a complex that keeps I am repressed, trying to put limitations on the boundless. There is no stopping this. It's spirit made physics, quantum leaps of faith. Our light claiming its birthright, you can't negate the strength. We are galaxies made flesh, constant constellations being birthed from our chest, sun rays riding Milky Ways out the divine nurturer's breast into stardust roots, rising like the laughter that we knew in our youth. Uncontrollable, inexplainable, beautiful. You just gotta go with it. Release your inhibitions, stop fighting the fears and feel the flow of it. Let it spiral inwards towards your bliss. Kiss every wound left by your self-consciousness so that yourself can be conscious of its gifts. Thankful for every suffering that it's lived. Appreciative of every wall that it learned from. Every hurt that helped it grow. Completely grateful for the warm embrace of letting go. Open to receive libations that trickle from above. And saturate the soul with truth, possibility, unconditional love. We got a cosmic library in the palms of our hands that teaches the language of everything if just given the chance. Every single vibrant molecule is I, is we, is one, dancing all around to the wonderful sound that's coming from my thumb. We got the blueprints of the heavens written on our fingertips. And if you put a needle to it, it'll make you shake your hips. To the mathematical melody coming from the inner we, emanating energy, it's infinite. Peace. Give it up for the Bus Stop Prophet. Give it up for Frank, the Bus Stop Prophet.
You know, listening to that piece again, I forgot how well he mixed the abstract and the concrete. He can be talking about the Tao and the infinite flow of the energy, but then he brings it back to his thumb, you know, and put a needle to it, make you shake your hips, you know. Frank,
Yeah,
very real world man, but at the same time, he's on another level too, man. You know, just.
Yeah, that's why he's so magnetic, though. That's why audiences, he captivated them every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And you and him, out of all the footage, you guys got it like 5 that just pop out at you. You and him were the two that really, in the ones we captured, yeah, you guys were a big part of Mosaic. And just look how many times you were hosting Mosaic there, man. You know? You jumped up there on the mic a lot of times, and you're one of my favorite hosts. Your energy was just captivating also. Yeah. You know? And how did he get the name Bus Stop Prophet, you know?
You know, he was named by, he said, he was at a bus stop and he was kicking some poems like in his late teens, early 20s, and a man said it in Spanish, you know, who was next to him. Frank grew up in Boyle Heights.
Yeah.
And the guy said something like, hey, he's the Bus Stop Prophet. And so he just took that name.
That's funny how we get these names, man. You know? And what about Mike the Poet?
Tone Tech, man. My buddy Tone Tech, when I was 23, and all we were ever doing was freestyling, and I had a notebook, and he was like, man, you're Mike the Poet. And so we stuck with it.
When you get a nickname, it's like an honor, you know? It really is. Speaking of a nickname, Mr. Blackbird here. I gotta like a piece of him doing a little bit more poetry, you know, but it still resonates who he is, right? Watch.
Swift gaze, parlay in the shade, and play the day sharply. Walk through the fire, expose the wire, tailed an informant, back to a sergeant, a precinct orphan. Often defiant, a ruse for the client, remanded compliant, a snitch for the system. They diss them a kiss when they list them for death, an expendable measure. Stretched out the length and duration to stay up the station, changed his view for the time he was facing. Ace in the lines, then pacing. Thoughts of the rats racing, the sleeves, the cheese he desperately needed. Wished he was weeded to forget the reason. Gappled his frame on the block like they traced him. Knew his position, moved with precision. Locked and honed in the corner. The corner was basing the smoke he was wasting his frame as his waist, which is dwindling. Commenced the fiddling and cued the soprano, alto. Although he knew just a little. Bargained away when he did to the heat lamp sizzle. Sweat bead drizzle. Caught in the middle of the struggle. Lesson to the rest in the hustle. Street lights go dim, fingers in the dark, slip chance the romance is spark, made slaves of the one drawn close to the flame, held the same because of the game as the hustler's fame. In the shadow cast light to the plight, grind straight through the night, make valuable sales worth the flight. More or less and all too often the lucky ones end up in the coffin, blinded by the light at the crossing and seen by his enemies floss, and the kite flew and blew the killers to the green light from the boss when there was fear in the ranks of his rising. Henchmen surprised him, rise when he least did expect it, collected his pack that connected his ties to the lies circulated of his lofty ambitions and his hatred, and they stated his visions to take down the kingpin. War began with the words of the fake men he surrounded himself with and was mistaken. Their allegiance was only to the grievance for his death, so the next in line could replace him. Boulevard breaks the backs of the hardest, ones who stand back and watch are the smartest. Less you're tested and fearless regardless. Don't make a man turn heartless. What? Boulevard breaks the backs of the hardest, ones who stand back and watch, smartest. Less you're tested and fair regardless. Don't make a man turn heartless.
Teddy Touch, Blackbird, Gershwin Hutchinson, man had a lot of AKAs.
Yeah, man, that was, I'm glad I captured that though, right? I'm glad I captured that.
You know, he had a lot of different influences. You know, early on, one of his biggest influences was Chuck D of Public Enemy. But at the same time, he was a fan of Bowie and Iggy Pop and Prince.
You said he was in Darkleaf?
And he was in Darkleaf.
Was that a
group?
Yeah,
Darkleaf was a group that came up at the same time as A Good Life Cafe. And the original members of Darkleaf were There was Terry Robinson, aka Hymnal, who did a lot of work with Cut Chemist.
Okay.
There was Mixmaster Wolf.
Okay, that's where he. Oh, Mixmaster Wolf.
Mixmaster Wolf was with Darkleaf.
Okay.
There was several others. Terry and Hymnal and Blackbird were two of the original members, but there was a number of other guys too, man. And they were a crew that was coming up at the same time as the Far Side. They were coming up at the same time as
Freestyle Fellowship
and Dilated Peoples,
5.
Jurassic 5.
Yeah.
All of those guys. And they used to do a lot of recording over on St. Andrews and around Venice, and right there somewhere around Venice and Van Ness, Venice and St. Andrews, and backyard parties, and Cut Chemists used to get down with them too. And
I saw some of that. They were talking about it, like how they were afraid of Freestyle Fellowship. Like how they were starstruck, a lot of people, by them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh wow.
But you know, Darkleaf at the same time was the ones that were a little bit more far out. Like a lot of people say they were as ill or iller than anybody, and they were
a little bit.
They were out past Saturn, and sometimes they didn't come back.
Well, he was called Gershwin too, right?
Mm-hmm. Gershwin Hutchinson.
Okay, that's his name?
That's his name, yeah. Trinidad.
That's awesome.
He's from Trinidad, Trinidadian. Yeah.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, with the Calypso and all that. Yeah, he's one of a kind, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Superstar.
Absolutely.
And I got one more of the Poets of the Round Table, Mr. Vestcap here at the record release party, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, we try to do a record to the beat, y'all, spoken word, and this is the first time that this shit is festive, bro. Right? It's almost like Poets Were Atmosphere, right? But he's rocking the mic on this one.
How y'all doing? When I say I am, you say hip hop. I am hip hop. I am hip hop. When I say I am, you say hip hop. I am hip hop. I am hip hop. I take rights on purpose, write poems on accident, write rhymes for the hell of it, write stories that's legitimate. Speak to beats like talking to hi-hat. Got Fly Cat and the beat head who likes to write for y'all. If your writer's block plays, we like small parts of the right for y'all. Yes, y'all. Until the sun shines on both sides and single parent households will finally see the light, I'ma write for y'all. Yes, y'all. Diggy, 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 yes, y'all. I'm running down my surroundings tonight, running on stage. I'm a walking notebook page, the 54 on school day. My forte is hip-hop, and I'm a scratch the surface. I take breaks on purpose, write poems on accident, write lines for the hell of it, write stories that's experiment. Speak the beats like calling them hi-hats, the Fly Cat likes to write for y'all. Until the writer's block plays me like small pops, I'ma write for y'all. Until the sun shines on both sides, the single parent household is finally see the light, I'ma write for y'all. Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. Until the old head on a down tree, tell me not to. I'ma write through obstacles like 2 knee surgeries. Live to the finish line like a fucked up burglary. Walk the Barnes and Nobles just to check if y'all heard of me. I'ma write under the sun till my skin turns burgundy. And my eyes drip compensate tears. And the years I've been taking under my belt creates a bulge. Indulge in grammar and spell checks and becoming walking paragraphs. Indications will be my indication, stop a ride. I'm gonna give high fives with my left, and I'm gonna back with my right. And put out lead poison until the crowd gets hot. Yeah! Alright. Yo, give it up for Mozaic Creation for putting this on, y'all. Give it up for them. I'm not gonna take up too much of y'all time. Why do I have to be special ed? Because you can afford discipline. I get up and talk to my friends, now I have a short attention span. And you label me that disease, you call it ADHD, now I have no possibility of a college degree. And what about that other kid that kind of resembles Tom Sawyer? If you give the same to him, his parents should probably go get a lawyer. See, I ain't got parents, I got a parent, she has 2 jobs, she's always gone. And better yet, we ain't got no phone. So yes, y'all, I
I'm old school like Too Short. How can I not get a scholarship when I excel in 2 sports? Life was too short. I learned to walk and talk fast, but my learning regrets the moment I stepped into class. Yeah? And with the masters of assignments, I arranged my alignments. I'm in the barred up school in the middle of the hood that reminds me of confinement. And if you can't find it, I'm in that far portable doing worksheets because they say books ain't affordable. Special ed. Yeah. All right. Hey, there's a lot of beautiful women in here tonight, okay? Can all the guys give it up for the women, y'all? Give it up for the women. Give it out good and shit on a Wednesday night. I got a fetish for creative women. She wrote this poem right at the end of a greeting card she created out the blue. She and I are the same, so her poems are tight too. We started out writing email at the same school, at the same spot, in the same building, on the same block, at the same time. Our emails rhyme something beautiful, and it enhanced my fetish, Code Brown. And we're still down, she's down, I'm down the block. I rock poems on the corner next to the girl selling flowers. She's hustling the green thumb skills, and I'm hustling the power of the pen. She's at the median, I'm at the stop sign. Writing poems all the time so I don't get behind. It's in my mind to be the school cat. You see, my mom led the way like a fullback. Taught me to be a difference maker and to never pull back. Told me to go to school and steal all the bull back. Her creative estrogen gave me a second wind. I got a fetish for creative women. Rita Cofer made a living out of wise decisions. Made me write for success. Made me play the trumpet to my next felt blessed. Marvin Gaye ballads, old Al Green hits. Put shit in my ears, breast milk from her tits. Told me about the Crips and the Bloods, and the Snakes and the Thugs. Let me be a thug for a minute, because it was creative like that. But when she saw that I was like a hand, she gave me back. Hell, she'd wear a Yankee cap in Boston if she had to. Walking Padre Stadium, rocking Dodger Blues. I got a fetish for you. Thank you very much. When there was best kept.
He could say that same poem a million times and you still like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just the energy with his call and response with the crowd.
Yeah, his joy and Best Kept is pure hip hop, but at the same time, he's also just a man of the people, and the joy that he brings, he really is. He always lights up a room. He always lights up a room.
That's for sure. And Mike, I've been to Mike and Dim Lights, and you know, it's always an event. It's a weekly, right?
It was a weekly for many, many years,
yeah.
And over the last 3 or 4 years, it's become monthly because man is a father, man has three children. But yeah, he was. They're coming up on their 20-year anniversary, and they're about to actually finally put the event. They're going to go ahead and retire after 20 years.
20 years, man.
But yeah, he did it weekly for, I think, 14, 15 years.
Yeah, you and him are my 2 favorite hosts from that period for sure.
Man.
Yeah, but that's the Poets of the Round Table, man. And
man, thank you.
How's this open mic going so far?
Man, I love it. Man,
this is a hell of an open mic, isn't it?
I love it.
Damn.
Man. I'm just happy to hear everybody and see everybody.
And this guy is kind of an honorary member of the Poets of the Round Table too, but I wanted him to be represent Leimert Park because to me that's one of my favorite places for spoken word.
Man, you know what? I mean, aside from Philharmonic, there's nobody I've done more poetry events with probably than AK Tony, because AK and I really ran around a lot from about 04, 05 to about 2011, 2012. And I mean, I actually just talked to him on the phone a little earlier today, but AK and I ran around a lot. And he was OG at the world stage in Leimert in the early 90s, 5th Street Dicks. You know, he was mentored by Billy Higgins and Kamau and Horace Tapscott.
For sure.
He used to run around back with Horace Tapscott.
These are some of my idols, man. Especially Billy Higgins.
You know, in AK really, I was at the world stage last night for an event, 8 Poets Stand United Against Racism, and when I was talking about Leimert, I had to give AK a big shout and say, because AK was the one that really welcomed me into Leimert, and after I'd been running around with AK and Leimert, a few years later I was teaching in Leimert, and so AK Tony will forever have my love, my gratitude, my respect. AK Tony, fantastic dude.
All right, well, let's check him out. He likes to always get the band, and he asked me to come up and jam with him. He's asked me to come up with him and jam with him several times.
you know, I've heard some people say that perhaps only Kamau can perform with jazz as well as AK.
Yeah, I can perform. Keep that going. Keep that going. Keep that going. A lot of people don't know about Los Angeles. I'm going to tell you a little bit about LA. And I'm going to tell you where LA is and what it's all about. See, Los Angeles, they call me. Los Angeles are what we're supposed to be. Language adversity, our street university. I mean, liquid arts on every beach like a label. Look at Hollywood if you could. Canal Chicken don't count because of Kings and Dodgers. Lovers arts with one wing trying to fly. Lazy acts of film, hip-hop, reality TV, and let's not forget open mic poetry. You see, blind astronauts who claim to be stars, they've never seen the space shuttle but pretend to be behind bars. Left absent from the crab slab, not enough rehab for the crypt flood slabs of sag. Yeah, where is LA? Because in this place I need a home to stay. You see, where is LA? Because when I come to visit, I need a home away. I need a shelter to stay. Yeah. See, it's those lounge after parties with breezies that give you that I'm a good feeling before the hangover. It's like living all day in the sunny days of sunshine, rain, and fall because Twist is a Greyhound downtown. Linger at the, I said linger at the views of Don Tomaso, or look over and out on 4th and Olive. Linger at the views of long Africans and Mexicans that mix to settle and help build this land, while it helped pay for Pio Pico and Biddy Mason. I just want to ask you, where is LA? Where is Los Angeles? I mean, if you're in downtown and you don't know where you're at, remember this riddle. Wouldn't it be grand to hope to find flowers at Figueroa? Love anonymously when you travel. Where is LA? I need a place to stay. Where is LA? I need a home to play. Where is LA? I need a place to stay. Where is LA? I need a home away. Where is Los Angeles? Where is Los Angeles? Are we in Venice? Are we in Los Angeles? Where is LA? Where is LA? Thank you.
I wanted to clap with that one.
You know, AK went acrostic with it. He was saying, look at lounge after parties. It was LA, and he just kept running word plays with as many LAs as he could come up with. He was doing acrostics with his poetics there.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that was improv. Part of that was a piece, but a good more than half of that was just a freestyle.
I thought he was like more interested in like the cadence and the rhythm of the words to make his points. But yeah, I didn't even see. I get to see this through your eyes.
He's a fantastic poetry teacher too. And so he does a lot of, there's an idea called procedural poetry where you're using these very intricate forms of poetry. And AK is a master of that. He was one of the first teachers I saw that would have students using classical forms like the sonnet, but he would flip it into a modern context. So he was doing acrostic using LA. He was using as many combinations of LA as he could. Look at, lounge after parties, look, he kept doing different combinations of words that had L and A. But then there was some improv element of it too. AK is a very technically polished poet, but as you said, he's also with his cadences, he's with his rhythms, and he's with feeling it, and he was just riding the beat like a surfer too.
That's what you do. That's what they call it, the ride cymbal, or you ride it. The vocalists are the man.
Yeah, man.
That's I clapped to that one.
I forgot about that piece, man. I loved it.
And here's some Venice, some people that were part of Venice Mosaic, a few regulars that, weren't part of that scene. They were kind of hanging out with me. And if you remember Night and Day?
Yeah, she's
Chelsea,
great.
super talented. But here's her doing some more poetry. Doing her more, she's a great singer and dancer, right? But I met her as a poet.
So let's give it up for Night and Day.
I do after-school programs. I teach dance for some after-school programs, and I work with a lot of teenagers who are the consumer culture, and I hear too many lyrics recited of smacking that and wearing this and shaking that, and they all want like big cars and diamonds and stuff, and I was kind of pissed off when I wrote this. Anyway, okay. Don't be fooled by the low prices and taste. They're low for a reason, man. They're mass produced out of haste. Some things you need to pay a little more for, like your fruits, your vegetables, your special herbs at specialty stores. Organic grassroots living can be maintained. Good health is all you got on these depleting earth plains. Don't be fooled by all the salacious advertising. If America's more clear-headed and not driven by greed, do you really think we let this motherfucker lead? Clowns and bushes dance under golden arches and upside-down flags. Many Americans are fast food addicts, addicted to the same preservatives used in Nazi camps and designed then to make the prisoners apathetic and complacent. The result now is not surprisingly adjacent. Don't be fooled whenever you think you're getting a deal. Everything you need like nature's nutrients they steal. So much concrete, it'll take a lifetime for the ground to heal. But resilience is their pestilence, so pests resile. Like Dorothy Asby and her huge words. Creation comes from the universe. Creation, the sound of the earth bangs in rhythm with my eardrums. Each organic process completed tallies up to an infinite sum, like Malodoma Some, who, as initiated into elderhood, he figured out the language between the grass and the trees. The earth said it entered into its next evolution. It's just waiting for humanity to catch up, like you and me, he and she, cause stripped down to nudity, we all share this right to impunity. Before man established the communities that organized the religions, becoming one with the earth was the only option given. Don't be fooled by age and time when you're dealing with something timeless. And don't think you can't rise high above the amount of shit you're in. I was a project in my hood, but I refused to be a product. Understood? Buying into all their damaging brainwashed broods, stepping out at stereotypes foot by foot. Don't be fooled. Every time you look at my face, very quickly I becoming one race. Like shades become dark, dark ones become light. Best of both worlds, I am half Mexican, half white. White like my skin, like the sayings of a Texan. And white like the very thoughts of money we're gaining. But brown like the body, the indígena hair in my head. Brown like my grandma who doesn't even speak English. Mixed all around like my mosaic soul. Harmonized with nature has become my goal. Don't be fooled by the ever-growing census pool. Pushing their beliefs and tactics that'll take a mathematician to school. Cause you can dress your finest and tell me this world is flat. But there's no way in hell I'm falling for that. Thank you.
Yeah, Chelsea. She's, I feel like
She's great. She's a great artist.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. She is one of, and with her, she's half Mexican, half white like myself, you know, so I kind of relate to her, you know, like a family member.
That's Angelino. You know? That's Angelino as it gets, right?
And man, this brother right here is real special to me. This guy saw breakdance, and I said, "Hey, will you be in this video with me?" That was 1 year before we started Mosaic.
Yeah.
And I saw him on the boardwalk one day. I said, "Hey, man, you know, I'm starting this thing. You want to be part of it?" And Evolve said, "Yes, I'll be part of it." You know, I didn't realize, I knew him as a break dancer, and I didn't even realize that he was a poet. And I saw him, "Hey, will you do this?" And that's how it happened.
This gentleman is the driving force of Mosaic. Let's give it up for Evolve.
Wow. I just want to say it's a very humbling and beautiful experience to be here tonight for your birthday, Nicholas. And you know, I just want to say thank you, because you know, I'd like to maybe think that I was a driving force, but you know, I know that we were just conduits of a higher power that was just kind of pushing us, and it was you guys and the people that have shown up and have supported us through the years that have really kept this thing going. And Nicky with the vision. That's Phil Jackson wherever he went around to. It's the captain always overseeing us. So, it was a dream, a vision, a yearning for something more, a calling that echoed in the silence of the heart. Bittersweet whispers aching for expression. Standing face to face, there was no more suppressing. The voice that cried, looking inside my eyes, no longer believing the trail of my lies. There's more for your life, now you must try. Put down your knives for your wings fly high. Let your light shine, now is your time. Cause if you don't, you stand where you die. They say the light shines in the darkness of the mind, when the power of the divine beckons the soul to find the breath of destiny that makes a heart chime. I walk blind in the winds of time, guided by the hands that spoke word into life, etched in the shimmers of the emerald fire, as I bathed in the nectar of the eternal child. Philosophies of alchemy held in the stone, to be tempered with reverence. Metal turns gold. It's the journey of a dream, the journey of a soul. Soul, dream, soul. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Decision was made, the fire was ignited. Heart voice waits as the universe conspired. Through the omens and the signs, reading between the lines, in the language of the world, the teachers and the guides, restoring the life to the eyes of a child. Many faces of a hero dancing among the stars, so high, so far, reaching above the bar, trying to unlock the treasures of my heart. Little did I know, where do I start? Expressions of the faces painted across canvas, pour forth the word as the poetry dances in the music of the soul, the rites of their passage. Expressions of art, expressions of remembrance, many steps, many miles, many trials of tribulation, responsibility of power in the message of the mission. Pushed so hard, but something was missing. The emptiness of meaning, the lacks of conviction, my total discontent for what was God-given. The pains, the tears, the years, the fears, pleading for my healing. I was searching for that feeling and the truth of my being as I fell through the ceiling of dark nights, lonely cries, false paradigms, ghosts and memories in the closet of my mind. These answers of my life, would I ever find? But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I'll tell you what I did find. You never really know what life will bring. I dance among gypsies, spoke among kings. Love lost, love gained, love heals all things. Followed the footprints that I found in the sand to see the grains of heaven beheld in my hand. Angel hands to high plans, started to pray again. Loving friends that understand to find God again. Through the lessons of love in the heart of purification. As below it is above, as matters of our perception. More deception, more war, couldn't believe what I saw. Unlocking the hidden truth, we're all one. The soul of God is the soul of us. And a voice without sounds, language without words. My heart, my soul, the wings of a bird. Strength, faith, trust, and courage. Miracles of art are the gifts of my service. Where you stand is where you are, so here is where I stand. On the trail of synchronicity, the path is at hand. There's no turning back, I could only walk on until the dream is held and the mission is done. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. World peace. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. End of suffering. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Universal living.
Yeah, man, that was proudful, definitely. And he was trying to get that poem to you, too. He really was. I think it would have been great for him, right? Man, yeah, he's a special dude.
I like what he was talking about, alchemy and world peace and ending suffering. And I see a lot of different themes from a lot of different places kind of intersecting in his work.
Yeah. And he's a good MC, too.
Yeah.
He can spit. And this next guy's really special to me, man, because I met him in the beginning, and he really, I wouldn't have known the Talking Stick, Rich and Sherry over there or anything like that. It's just, again, part of the serendipity. He was at the first Mosaic because of a flyer that was on the Venice Circle somewhere near there.
Wow.
And he came up with the record Beat Speed.
Learning lately, what have you been?
He's just a unique artist.
Come bring up a guy that's very special to me. His first 3 years in Mosaic, he was there all the time. And on the very first Mosaic, Mike the Pro was there, Phil Harmonic, and this kid I'm going to introduce you to right now, his name is Firefly. I think he just had a baby. Is that true?
Yes, indeed.
All right. He just had a baby. Let's give it up for Firefly. He's going to improvise on the art. Let's see it.
Good evening, Venice. Yeah, we're a brand new life. Brand new life, like evenings like this brings. I have nothing to say this evening, but maybe this night does. Nothing to hear that doesn't need to come forth from these walls, from these minds, from these eyes, from these people, individuals in one place, connecting. So I gotta give thanks to those that came before us, beat poets, those that stood up for reasons to speak, even though their venues are being closed down and being challenged along the way, to have places like this today that are hopefully lasting as long as this has. So I'm just gonna start off. I like to look at the surroundings. I'm gonna use these little pieces right here just to start me off. Blank trees, because these last leaves have fallen. The calling is much in depth indeed inside of I, wishing just to reach one further, grasp to find the fruit of life. Indeed, those do come against us, like the serpentine, and the mind gets warped and twerked into all types of shapes, like pretzel pieces. These releases come only through free flowing, indeed we do. Just wait upon these waters. Get caught up sometimes in all kinds of matters not needed, and it leadeth you on wrong paths. We be relieved by breathing deeply, and I find seeking highlights keep me needing that next step of beyond, just to reach upon the pond on the other side and find new trees to climb, new leaves to catch for spring that's past. Comes back, it always comes back. like the cycle, comes back in this art form, revised. New minds and eyes to realize it's here again. Our friends be poets.
Meditation.
Yeah, I remember at the time I was like, because he had never done anything like that before, right? I'm like, what is he doing? And now I look at it later and I go like, wow, that was really great, you know?
He was considering the room, considering the space.
Yeah.
And, paying homage to those who came before.
And that was the Venice West Cafe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in the same building, man.
I felt that spirit too at that time. It was a very spiritual thing doing that event with for John, because he was a friend of mine and mentor, and the way he died was horrible.
He had passed just a few weeks before, right?
No, like 5 years before. No one ever got to say goodbye.
Oh.
So I did that so we could all say goodbye to him, you know?
Wow, that's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was teaching poetry in prison.
Wow.
And I heard in one interview he was saying, those men, I'll never leave those men. They're my men, they're better men than me, he was saying, right, yeah.
You know, everybody I know, I've taught in some juvenile hall and I've worked with a lot of at-risk youth, but I've never gone directly into the prisons. But Luis Rodriguez has been doing that almost 40 years. Basically 40 years he's been going in and teaching in prisons. And everyone I know that's ever done that said not only are they some of the best writers, but some of the greatest people they've ever met.
And we're trying to get them out. That's ridiculous, this penitentiary industrial complex.
The prison industrial complex.
We know it, man. What's going on with it too? It's the gig.
Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, is incredible.
It's so true.
And she said the prison population tripled since 1980.
So, yeah, man, that was the open mic, bro.
Man,
What'd you think of these artists?
Incredible, man, incredible. Like I said, it makes me want to go home and write.
Man,
it's so good to hear everybody, though.
Isn't it, though? We got to have a reunion when this is all said and done, right? We definitely do. And I found some footage of you at Stella Adler's, and I just wanted to show it to you, man, because I remember this really, Stella Adler Acting Academy. Yes, I remember this, just how the actors, look at us, look at this here.
The end of the season to take the word back. Who's ready to take the word back? Who's ready to take the word back? Who's ready to take the word back? We now have figurehead false poets that are masquerading as the friends of men, and they're really more like charlatans, harloting on the microphone like a model on the runway. They let the word get away, kicking automatic pilot cliches and movie quotes. Poetic meter pentameter, do not be an amateur in the word game. Lexical lame brains need to sit down. Its repertoires of sound which delineate dialects, not stock phrases spoon-fed media-ish. Let's take the word back, making the consonants crack. Kicking fat stacks of words, wicked verbs, adjectives, action, and energy. Harnessing the healing power of poetry to awaken awareness. Abolishing the formulaic flows that make for lexical laziness. Rocking freedom philosophies with ferocity. Not a poetry slam, we just slam in poetry. What? To take the word back from the global clone megaphones. To ring out in poems, lace with spells, poems and news stories to tell, poems to rock bells and let freedom ring. Who's ready to take the word back? Yeah! Take the word back! Yeah! Take the word back! Yeah! I'm tired of hearing pseudo-conscious pieces where ego is really the feature. I'm tired of hearing Puff Daddy poets with no focus. Just flashy words. The meaning of this art is sacred. The meaning of this art is sacred. The meaning of this art is sacred. You can't fake it. Poets are dangerous, earth-shaking catalysts. From the price of this responsibility comes greatness. I know diligence and patience might put you with the ancients. Bring on the new age renaissance. Words manifest, express to stay blessed. We all write our own script, whether you're Shakespeare, Tupac, or the average kid. In the quest to find your voice, the road is a fork. Consider the choice. Everyone has influences, role models, and heroes. Kerouac had his, and so did Hemingway. You gotta write your way to your real voice. The only way to find your style is to do it for a while. Rome wasn't built in a day. Bukowski wasn't famous until he was a dirty old man. Patience is the plan. Poem after poem after poem after poem after poem. Open up your soul. Have a go. Read the masters, the greats from the past. You don't have to read all of them, but even the proper understanding of one literary giant will give you an idea about the heaviness of the role called poet, griot, storyteller. Read and listen to the last poets, Watts, Prophets, Gil Scott Heron, Wanda Coleman, Kamau Dawood, Quincy Troop, Charles Bukowski, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, the Beat Generation, Walt Whitman, and Langston Hughes. Each of these giants found their voice through a lifetime of struggle. Blood, sweat, and tears, long, hard years, battling fears, overcoming themselves. The poet overcomes themselves in the quest to heal the world. The poet's responsibility is to the community. History is recorded, tell it like it is, show us how it happened. Poet, participant, observer, serve the words. Who's ready to take the word back? Ready to take the word back?
Yeah!
Ready to take the word back? Yeah. You ready to take the word back? What's up, everybody? How are you guys?
Yeah, man, that's just it.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to show you that because the reaction of the actors peeking in and watching you guys, man, they were kind of like, wow, what's going on in there, you know? And I think they were very inspired by you guys because you went to where they are.
Yeah. You reminded, there's a guy named Jack Rogers that runs Stella Adler, and he's a great dude, and he was the one that gave me the green light to do that back in '06. And we did it all the way to 2014. I think I might have even have done one in 20, it's been a good 4 or 5 years, 5, 6 years since we did something there, but we did things there 8, 9 years, man, you know?
Yeah, no, and it's like, I saw the similarity, like, you know, between performance poetry and acting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been quite a few people that have gone on to do some acting through. I've seen Paul Mabon.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of poets that were actors.
Progressive commercial, right? Paul Mabon and Carla Vega. I've seen her in several commercials.
Man, a lot of these folks that were poets were also actors, and Omari Hardwick on that Power show with 50 Cent. You know, he was a heck of a poet at the Poetry Lounge. A lot of folks that were poets and actors, man. Sarah Jones and so many different folks.
How did this performance poetry get started?
You know, there are so many different answers to that. I mean, you can definitely, from the Black Arts movement in the 60s and people like the Last Poets and the Watts Prophets and Gil Scott Heron.
True.
But there was also poetry slams started in Chicago in the 1980s, a guy named Mark Smith. They were coming up out of bars, but I mean, there was Rollins, punk rock.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can take it back.
The Beats were, they considered themselves performance artists.
Ginsberg was a performance poet. And for that matter, so was Langston Hughes in the Harlem Renaissance.
True.
And there was a guy named Vachel Lindsay who did poetry in the 19 teens and 20s. He called himself the Prairie Troubadour. But, you know, talk about performance poetry, the griots in Western Africa 500 years ago. And for that matter, in Japan, they used to have haiku battles. And they've had haiku battles for hundreds of years. And in ancient Greece, they had the rhapsodes. And so there's this tradition of performance poetry, and really poetry was originally memorized. We spoke about the oral tradition. Before poetry was ever written down, poetry was an oral art form. And the troubadours in Italy and Spain, you know, a lot of these poetry forms like the villanelle and the sestina and these really intricate rhyme schemes were originally created because poets needed to memorize their work. So the poets were the newscasters. When Chuck D said that hip-hop was the CNN of the streets, that was really something that had been going on hundreds, if not thousands of years, as far as poets being the storytellers in every culture of the world. And the original reason why poetry rhymed was because it was easier to memorize.
Like, we saw some stars tonight, man.
Man, that was fantastic, man. Wow.
Yeah, man. It was really good to see you, bro.
You're making me want to pick up the phone and give a call to these folks, man.
Yeah, we got to do it. If that's what's going to come out of this, you think?
Yeah, man. Man, it was... And also, these are just such good frozen moments in time, you know, and like...
But those moments don't happen unless you show up.
Yeah.
For each other, right?
Yeah, man.
And, man.
Thank you, Nicholas, for providing a platform. And they say, you know, if they build it, you know, if you build it, they will come. And they did come, and you built it, bro. So I can't thank you enough for that. And what you did to bring everybody,
for helping us,
what you did to bring everybody together. And
yeah,
there was really a lot of dynamics, a lot of, you know, it was like there was a lot of spontaneity, but there was also a lot of continuity, you know, both stability to it, but also a lot of pyrotechnics, a lot of electricity, and
that Venice zaniness. You just, it was unpredictable, you know, but to me, it's a love, if I was gonna call that anything, that open mic, it would be called a love story, a poetic love story, right? There's so much love.
It was all love, man.
That's what this is to me. It's just friendship, man. So again, brother.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Let's not late 7 years this time, all right, man?
Man, more.
But again, you're showing up again, and it's like your art. I think like you're the world of your art, man, and I think you are one of the top artists of our generation here, of this generation, this millennial.
Man,
you know. I really do.
Man, well, as you said, it's about friendship, and thank you for your friendship and just coming together, man.
All right. Hey, man, you mind, would you spit one for me, bro?
Yeah, man.
Okay, let's.
I'm still alive in Los Angeles, even as the price of rent rises and gridlock strangles central arteries. I'm old enough to remember disco parties and the build-up to the 1984 Olympics, and news reporters like Jerry Dunphy and Hal Fishman. I remember when Fernando Valenzuela was a rookie. Years before I loved Wanda Coleman and Bukowski, my first LA poets were Chick Hearn and Vince Scully. Then I read Mike Davis and Carrie McWilliams and watched the Gospel of Huell Hauser, looking at things that aren't here anymore. Recalling former glory like Ralph's story, I'm still exploring from Panorama City to Pomona. I'm still alive in Los Angeles as they build high-speed trains down Crenshaw and out into the San Gabriel Valley. Changes in transportation for the new generation foreshadow the nation's transformation as millennials on bicycles call for a return to the Garden City. Green in the 21st century is a matter of survival. Witness the revival of the wetlands, the riparian watershed as a sentinel for sustainability, unbridled consumption as a liability. Observe residents of Angel City playing their part to restore nature's heart. I'm still alive in Los Angeles, from festivals to funerals, baby showers to weddings, each generation ever more beautiful, realities ever musical, throngs of people mix and match, creating the patchwork mosaic of multicultural souls coming together to call LA home. The community is a poem in progress called Los Angeles. The angels in a city singing synchronicity from Central to Century City. Olympic was 10th Street and Pio Pico was the last governor of California when it belonged to Mexico. He was born a Spanish citizen. See the city zen soaring to Satori on a Saturday morning, circling the Evergreen Cemetery or hiking up hills in Culver City. I'm still alive in Los Angeles as mamas monitor laundromats from Lankershim to Long Beach. I walk the long streets from Magnolia to Manchester, Rosemead to Redondo Beach. I'm still alive in Los Angeles, though there's no more open space. Most of the wetlands have been replaced by condos, Trader Joe's, and makeshift dog parks. The expanding corporate heart charts a frenzied facelift of never-ending Christmas, but only a few are on that wish list. There's a generation of kids on Snapchat and commuters want that fast track. Alive in Los Angeles. I'm still alive in Los Angeles thanks to family, friends, and poetry. The past, present, and future of my city gives me energy. Untold generations of history from Biddy Mason to Chavez Ravine to Toyomi Itaki, punctuating the power of place, turning the page, sharing authority, because we all share the story of the city unfolding. There's no hierarchy. We all belong to this city. It's all her story. I'm still alive in Los Angeles, and today I drive around LA with my son and daughter like I once rode with my grandfather. There's no more Perinos or the Brown Derby, but there's still Fosselman's, Coles, Philippe's in the pantry. My children spill ice cream in the back seat with me. Together we are alive in a city of destiny. I'm still alive in Los Angeles. I'm still alive in Los Angeles. I'm still alive in Los Angeles. LA.